Live from the Quest headquarters, it's the Northwoods Assembly Bible Study with PB&G, where if you miss a little,
you miss a lot.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, everybody online and our peanut gallery over here. Say hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in. We are continuing our study tonight in the book of Ruth. Probably going to finish it up tonight.
It may happen.
It may happen.
It may happen.
All right.
May happen. And that whole live thing was, well, we're live, but you're not live.
That's right.
Us,
Again, no chat feature over here because this is recorded, and so we're not really live. So again,
not really.
As always,
we are, but we're not.
Save your questions. Hard ones for Gary, easy ones for me. That's how we do it.
Yeah,
so
if you're watching this, just text them right to Pastor Brad right now, and he can answer them. You know?
Yeah, text them to my email address that nobody knows.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that one.
That's nobody knows at nowhere.com.
Nowhere. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
How did you know?
Oh, sorry, I put it out there.
I didn't give it to you.
Whoops.
For a reason, Gary. Okay. All right.
All right, we're gonna pray.
Go.
God, we're gonna dig into your word again. Let your spirit guide us, Lord. You know, we could get up here and say all kinds of fun stuff that are our opinion, but nobody's here for that. God, help us to hear from you, to see your hand, to be guided into your word, so that we learn what we need to learn, so that we can be changed, and who we are can be what you want for us. God, just help us to learn to worship you, to glorify you in this, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right.
All right. So where did we leave off last week?
We left off in chapter 3, verse 9. We're going to pick up in verse 10.
Verse 10
tonight.
So we kind of left you hanging because Ruth had just kind of popped the question to Boaz, sort of said, "Cover me with your garment, and you're our close relative." Saying, "Redeem us." You know, I'm ready to marry Boaz. What do you think?
Yes. We had talked about that. There's a lot of cultural stuff going on.
Yep.
And whether this was something that happened in Moab or not, I don't know. But Naomi is instructing Ruth on the finer details of how this whole thing works.
Yep.
And she is basically letting Boaz know, as we in last week, you can go back and watch it if you want. She kind of puts the hint out to Boaz that, hey, I'm done grieving my dead husband, and I'm ready to move on with my life. And I think you are the guy for me. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
And now we just kind of left it there. So we'll see what happens this week on the episode of Ruth.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Then he said in verse 10, "May you be blessed of the Lord, my daughter. You have shown your last kindness to be better than the first, by not going after young men, whether poor or rich." So we talked about the fact that Boaz is older. We don't know exactly his age. You know, I didn't get to check his Tinder profile, but he's definitely older than Ruth. And he's saying, you know, you could have, you know, said, "What do I want with that old guy?"
Yeah.
And we're not told specifically, but from the context, it seems like it's a good possibility that Boaz doesn't have any kids of his own here. And maybe God is providing something for him that he thought he would never see again in this. So your second kindness is better than the first. He's talking about the kindness that she had shown to Naomi.
Yes, because as you go, if you go back a couple of Bible studies anyway, in the text, he is impressed by her story. He's impressed by how she lost everything, and she sticks with Naomi, who also has lost everything. And she clings to her out of love, to help her, to go with her, to just be there for her, because she has nothing, Naomi, at this point. She's lost it all. And so Ruth is like, "I'm going to stick with you. I love you, and I'm going to be with you, and I'm going to be there to care for you and walk with you." And Boaz is very impressed by the sacrifices she has made to help Naomi. And now she's doing this other thing as well. So he's like, you're something.
Mm-hmm.
You are something. From the day I saw you out there in the field and said, "Who's that?" Yeah. So good things are happening for her.
Yeah. Her obedience, her faithfulness has been noticed. And it says now, verse 11, he says, "Now, my daughter, do not fear, for I will do for you whatever you ask. For all my people in the city know that you are a woman of excellence." Stop right there for a minute, because there's a couple of little things there. First, remember, when Naomi sent her, she said, uncover Boaz's feet and do whatever he tells you. So she uncovers Boaz's feet. When he wakes up, she steps right up and proposes, and he says, I will do whatever you ask.
Yeah. She in that moment, it is clear that she has won Boaz's heart. Mm-hmm. That Boaz is basically saying, I think I loved you the first time I saw you across the field. And I just couldn't say anything because because like he says to her, you could have gone out and found 100 other guys, but you came to me. Mm-hmm. And I love you. Yes.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And what he says, you're a woman of excellence. A couple of things there. One, it's fitting because we're told in the beginning that Boaz is a man of worth, and it doesn't just mean material wealth. We talked about that before. There's several different ways that man of worth is described as a substantial man, a solid man, a reputable man.
With character and integrity and honesty and influence. Yes.
So now we're seeing that the man of worth is going to get married to the woman of excellence.
This is the formation of a power couple.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And further, that term that he uses here is only used 2 other spots in the Old Testament. One is in Proverbs 12:4. The other is in Proverbs 31:10, where he says a wife of excellence. It's this term. And then the rest of Proverbs is that whole Proverbs 31 woman where it describes the idealized wife.
Yep.
This is the term that is, so this is the word he's using for Ruth. He says, you are this.
Yes, he sees her and he knows that this woman is something special. She has all the qualities. She can do all these things. I see her work in the field. I'm getting to know who she is. She is impressing him all over the place. And again, after he watches her that day in the field and goes home and, if they're going to make a movie, it's him sitting there by the fire in the evening thinking about her going, man, what she did today that was amazing. She works hard. I saw her care for other people in the field and bring them some water to drink. And she's so good to Naomi and she's got skills. She was mending some torn garments over there and she can do all these things and she's pretty too, and he's thinking like, man, she's the package. She's everything. And then he expresses that to her. You are a woman of excellence. Mm-hmm. You are, and again, he's a wealthy guy. He probably could have gone out and proposed to 6 women and they'd have married him because he had some money, but he just couldn't find anybody up to that point worthy of asking, I guess. Because he had some high standards and she met them. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. So, I mean, all these undertones, but it's a love story too,
It is. Well, and that's the story of Jesus and us is a love story.
Yeah.
He's the bridegroom. We are the bride. He gives his life to save us. He loves us so much that he gives everything to redeem us, to win us back. We who've lost everything, including our relationship with God, we're separated. We're nothing without him. And he comes and makes a way for us to have all of that back, the relationship back, everlasting life with him back, all the riches of heaven, heirs with Christ, all of it. Wow. It's a picture of Christ, this whole story. It's fantastic.
It is. So. Yeah. Okay. 12. Now it's true that I am a close relative. However, there's a relative closer than I. Remain this night. And when the morning comes, if he will redeem you, good, let him redeem you. But if he does not wish to redeem you, then I will redeem you. As the Lord lives, lie down until morning.
Whew, that's got to be hard for him to say it, but he is a man of integrity.
Right. And that's
he's
the way it's proper.
He would not be able to live with himself if he didn't do this right. Mm-hmm. And he says, there's one other person in line before me.
Right. And this was determined by proximity.
Yeah.
So the nearer relative had the first right and really the first responsibility.
Yep.
To do the redemption.
Kind of like a first right of refusal. You have to ask them if they want to marry you first. If they say no, then you can come here. But if he says yes, then you got to go with him.
Please say no. Please say
yeah.
Please say
right.
But he says, remain this night. So, and then lie down until morning. So it's safer for her to stay until closer to dawn than it is to leave in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't get back into the town. So where's she going to go if she leaves now? But lie down until morning, he tells her. And then it goes on to say she lay at his feet. So even after all this, they've decided, okay, we're going to get married. They observe propriety here. And she lays down at his feet again. He covers himself up and they go to sleep.
Yep. He's like, it's too late for you to head back into town. Stay here, right here. And then in the morning, go and make that proposal and see what happens.
Yeah.
And let me know.
Yeah. So she lay at his feet until morning and rose before one could recognize another. And he said, let it not be known that the woman came to the threshing floor. It wouldn't do
what does that mean? Just because, again, sometimes it's hard to understand when scripture says before anyone could recognize another. Does that mean
it's not fully light yet?
Right.
It's just coming on today.
Yep.
Yeah. But it wouldn't do for Boaz to go try to convince the nearer kinsman not to marry Ruth, so he can, if somebody else saw her sneaking away from the threshing floor, and they, well, it's like, I saw those two together at the threshing floor, so,
right.
Yeah. So it was important that she get out of there before anybody could know she was there.
Yes. Otherwise, then those rumors would have destroyed both of their reputations.
Yeah.
And then not only would his reputation be soiled, but then no respectable man's going to want her either, because that's the kind of woman she is. And that's not going to work.
Nope.
And he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's wanting to take care of her.
Yes.
Yeah. So even though she's getting ready to leave and, sneak away and not get caught and all that stuff, he said, give me the cloak that's on you and hold it. So she held it, and he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her. And then she went into the city. So even though, and that's 6 measures, I'm not sure exactly what measure, because of the Hebrew literally says he gave her 6 barleys. So I don't know for sure what the measure was that he gave her. And I've read, this to me is a bit of a stretch, but I've read people, it's like, well, the symbolism here, he hold out your cloak and he fills it with seed and then makes her belly kind of bulge. And it's like, I think we might be taking things a little too far there, maybe. But
makes for juicing everything.
And this is me maybe making a stretch here, but I'll just throw this out there. Just not saying this is necessarily all in here, but it's just a thought that I had. So if Boaz promises, what he promises her is redemption and a new life, this little bit of grain that he gives her is like the earnest of that. It's like the symbol of that new life, a little bit of that for her to carry with her right now until the marriage can come, knowing she'll be provided for, knowing that he won't forget her until then. And to me, maybe in some way that could symbolize the first fruits of the new life we got with our redemption. We now live with the gift of the Spirit, but that's just a taste of the eternal. That's just a little bit of what we're going to get on the day when we, as the bride of Christ, go to that wedding and are married to our Redeemer.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful picture that starts out with bad decisions and loss and separation and desperate attempts at redemption on their own. And then this beautiful love story unfolds, and redemption and restoration, and a marriage happens. That's the story of Jesus and us.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is a beautiful picture of that. So it's lovely. And the fact that God marriage, a wedding, is a theme that runs throughout Scripture. I mean, from the beginning to the end, as part of God's kingdom plan is a marriage.
Yeah.
Adam and Eve in the garden, a man and woman together, and then the bride and the groom, and then Christ in the end with us and the bride, and the church is the bride and Jesus is the groom. And again, that marriage supper of the Lamb, it has always been his intent for us to be together, cared for, loved, provided for, from the beginning. It's been the plan.
And to just extend that one more step, Ruth, the Israelite, and Elimelech, the Israelite, kind of walked away from God by leaving Bethlehem and going into Moab. And now we see Ruth the Moabite, the Gentile,
Mm-hmm.
with a chance to have this marriage to the Redeemer because Israel spurned God.
Yeah.
Just the same as that marriage supper of the Lamb, all those Gentiles that will be there will be because God said, I'm going to make them a way too. I mean, Israel was our entry point.
Yeah. Well,
like Naomi, she introduced Ruth to God, but then Ruth is going to have her own relationship.
Yeah. And yeah, Naomi was the Jew and Boaz is Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
And in this story, she's the outsider and he is the Jewish Redeemer, as Jesus is. Again, it's just endless. The amount of grain he gives her, according to the commentary here, was about 40 quarts. And traditionally, if they poured it into her shawl, it wouldn't have been something she would have worn.
Put it on her head or something.
Yes. They would have poured it into the cloth, tied it, and then he placed it on her head, and she would have walked home with it that way.
Yeah.
So that whole pregnant belly thing.
Yeah, you surprised how
somebody going a little far.
You surprised how many spots you see that in. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, you see a lot of things out there when you study, and it's like.
And it was a gift of provision for her and for Naomi to take that home and say, I just want to make sure that if this doesn't work out for me, that I want you to be okay. Whatever happens, so I'm going to gift this to you, give it to you.
Well, either way, she would have been, even if the other guy married her, she would have been provided for. But he's saying, I'm going to take care of you.
Yes.
But until our wedding, here's this.
Yes.
Here's this little bit of this little promise of what's to come.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Yes. And again, that goes right back to Christ, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Here's a little promise of what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Yeah. All
right. Moving on to verse. Oh, wait. No, I got ahead of myself. I thought we were okay. Give me the quote. Oh, it's 16. When she came to her mother-in-law, she said, "How did it go, my daughter?" And she told her all that the man had done for her. She said, "These 6 measures of barley he gave to me, for he said, do not go to your mother-in-law empty-handed." Then she said, "Wait, my daughter, until you know how the matter turns out, for the man will not rest until he has settled it today." Now, Naomi never meets Boaz in our story.
Right.
But it sure seems like she knew him because she trusted him with Ruth in the dark, in the threshing floor. And here she says, he won't rest until he settles this for you. Don't worry.
Well, and it seems like she does, because earlier on in the story, she says, "Where'd you go?" And well, I was in this field owned by a guy named Boaz, and she says he is a kinsman redeemer. So she knows him. And again, this is where she was from before she went to Moab.
Yeah.
So yes, she and in a community like that, she very well may have known, if not known him personally, at least known of him by word of mouth. So yeah. And again, that all goes back to Jesus. We need to be talking about him. We need to be telling people. We need to spread the word, to tell him how good he is and the good things he does, so that people will go to him and he can save them, like Boaz saves Ruth.
Yeah.
I've heard about you, and I need help. Wow, this is beautiful stuff. So, all right, keep going.
Yeah. So we're going to move right into chapter 4.
4.
Now Boaz went up to the gate and sat down there, and behold, the close relative of whom Boaz spoke was passing by. So he said to him, "Turn aside, friend, sit down here." And he turned aside and sat down. Now the gate, it wasn't just a random hail was hit at the gate, but the gate was served as kind of like the town hall. That's where they would gather and they would decide important stuff. The elders would gather there and decide matters and stuff. So when he goes and sits by the gate, and also everybody kind of had to pass through the gate to get in or out of the town.
Right.
So he sits by the gate and waits for the guy and pretends like it's casual when the guy shows up. And he's like, "Oh, hey, buddy. Hey, sit down. Hey, let me get you a cup of coffee. Let's talk."
And culturally, the gate, and again, when we think of a gate, we think of like a gate going into our backyard.
Yeah.
Gates in a walled city or larger cities were a structure, a large stone structure. And a lot of times, a lot of business would transact there. Yeah. Some of the judges would sit there and they would do little If you had a dispute, you'd go there and have it settled, or business things would happen there. So it was a place as you went in and out of the city, sort of make deals and seal deals as you were coming and going.
Yeah.
So this would have been not an odd place for this to happen. This would have been the logical place for this to happen. So yeah, so they go there and meet him in this place where, hey, I want to do business with you here. And let's stop before you go in. Let's conduct this business. And they do.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
So they continue on. Then sit down, and he'd sit down in verse 2. He took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit down here. So they sat down. Then he said to the closest relative, Naomi, who has come back from the land of Moab, has to sell the piece of property which belonged to our brother Elimelech.
Her dead husband.
Her dead husband.
Yeah.
So I thought to inform you, saying, buy it before these elders who are sitting here and before the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, redeem it. But if not, tell me that I may know, for there's no one but you to redeem it, and I'm after you. And he said, I'll redeem it. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer for the guy, because if she died without sons,
yeah,
he's like, I can buy that, and then she doesn't have sons, so then I don't even have to give that back after the year of Jubilee. That's mine.
Yeah.
That now becomes mine. And Naomi's too old to have kids.
Yeah.
So even if they wanted me to marry Naomi, which they may or may not, I mean, I don't have to worry about that. I mean, he would have to provide for her, but the land would pay for that. So
So he's presenting it as just a basically a real estate transaction,
right?
To this guy, and he's like, yeah, I'm open for that.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah. So in verse 5, he says, then Boaz said, on the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must also acquire Ruth, the Moabitess, the widow of the deceased, in order to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance. And the closest relative said, I cannot redeem it for myself, because I would jeopardize my own inheritance. Redeem it for yourself. You may have my right of redemption, for I cannot redeem it.
So what just happened there?
Now, we talked about this a little bit before. It's a little bit unclear whether or not he really would have been forced by law to marry Ruth.
Right.
There's a couple things there. The kinsman redemption law and the Levirate marriage custom were not completely one and the same, because he wasn't actually the brother. He was a further relative, but also there was the fact that Ruth was from Moab, and they were forbidden from marrying the Moabites. So he could have said, well, this is an illegal marriage. I don't have to marry her. But what it seems like Boaz does here is the way he presents this in front of all the elders. He's duty bound to marry her now. He can't really say no in front of all these people. And, he's honor bound kind of to just like, okay, I kind of have to.
Yeah. Well, and again, think about this guy. He's very, very probably has his own family already.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things happening there.
Right.
One would be, he would take this land and take Ruth, but then it would be to redeem her dead husband's branch.
Right.
So in the end, it would literally be him rescuing it, and at some point he wouldn't get it anyway. It would go that direction after Ruth's dead husband's family that way, to do that sort of a thing. And then he would have to provide for her over and above having to provide for his own family. So this is turning into a financial burden for him and a risky business deal, because he could end up losing it.
Yeah. Well,
so he's like, I don't even want to. No,
it's not worth it.
No, it's my day started good. I'm going to end it good. Just no trouble, no drama.
Yeah. He if he had an heir of his own.
Yeah.
The best case would be I bring Ruth home and I have a son with her.
Yes.
And he inherits the land. So all I'm getting is the fruit for the next however many years until he can inherit it.
Mm-hmm.
And in exchange, I get to come home and say, hey, honey, I brought home another wife.
Yeah. And it's just, he's like, this is just
not worth it.
Way too complicated.
It's a hard sell.
Yeah.
I was just hoping today I could, go fishing later and not have to worry about stuff like this.
Right. In worst case, he doesn't have an heir of his own. He has a son with Ruth, who is Elimelech's line, and he never has an heir of his own. And then his land goes to Elimelech's line.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, he's not necessarily the bad guy for saying no to this.
Yeah. And he says in verse 6, he gets explained to him, well, you got to marry Ruth, the Moabitess, then, if you're going to do this to get the property. And he says, at this, the kinsman redeemer, this other guy who had the first right of refusal, I cannot redeem it then, because I might endanger my own estate. So you redeem it yourself. I can't do it. And he's out. And Boaz secretly underneath is doing a happy dance.
Well, yeah, this is what he's wanted all along.
He's excited. He's like, yes. So, verse 7.
So just a side, my own little, thought here. Side note: if Boaz could have redeemed the land without marrying Ruth, he wouldn't have. He didn't. He wasn't interested in that. He was interested in Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about all through this. We talk about how God has redeemed us. God could easily have redeemed the land without Ruth.
Yeah,
it would have been so easy for God to say, you know what, these are broken. I'm just gonna toss them in the fire and make some more. I got a nice earth here. Let's just get rid of these and start over.
So the kinsman redeemer's focus and his heart and everything he has, he pours into what?
Into the person.
Yes.
God's interest is not in the earth. His interest is in us.
Yes.
So he was not interested in redeeming the earth and not us.
Yeah.
The price that he paid was for us.
Yeah, and you can say really politically incorrect things and hurt soft people's feelings by, saying that in the end, God doesn't save the whales or the sequoias or the spotted fish darter. A new heaven and a new earth. The old, broken, flawed, sin-filled earth disappears and a new one is created the way it was supposed to be. Just like us, the old, dead, sinful body of us is gone and we are given a new eternal body. The earth, that happens to the earth, to creation as well. And and the only thing that matters in the salvation story is us.
Yeah.
And Boaz, the only thing that matters to him, his heart and his focus, is her.
Yeah. He wants to redeem Ruth, and the land will take care of itself.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Verse 7. Now it was the custom in former times in Israel concerning the redemption and exchange of land, to confirm any matter, a man removed his sandal and gave it to another. And this was a matter of attestation in Israel. So, and they're telling what the custom used to be. So you could tell that this was not written like the day after. This was written at a later date, but this is how they did it. Part of the reason was like they needed some symbol, and everybody had a shoe. So it's like, okay, here's your shoe. We sealed the deal. Here's your shoe. Take it with you. I could take it home, put it on a shelf, and say that's the shoes that day I got the agreement to marry Ruth. Here's my proof.
And it's kind of like a signature in a way, because if
it's your shoe.
Well, it's your shoe, and you wear them long enough, and it kind of gets the print of your foot and your toes in it and everything. And it's sort of like Cinderella. You could match it up with somebody's foot, or you could say this is yours because you got the other one. And it's a symbol of this is the evidence. This is proof. This is your signature. This is your mark. This is something personally of yours. What other way would I would have gotten this if we hadn't made this deal?
They did this in front of all the witnesses. So this is his notarized deed.
It is. Yes, it's exactly right.
It takes home and files.
It's for lack of a notary republic. Here's my sandal.
Yeah,
it's got my toe prints right in it. They'll only fit me. Evidence of our deal.
Yep.
Yes, it's wonderful.
So that's basically what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
So as odd as it sounds,
that's it.
They had a way to do it. So the closest relative said to Boaz, "Buy it for yourself," and he removed his sandal. Then Boaz said to the elders and to all the people, "You are witnesses today that I have bought from the hand of Naomi all that belonged to Elimelech and all that belonged to Chilion and Mahlon." Those were the two sons. "Moreover, I have acquired Ruth the Moabitess, the widow of Mahlon, to be my wife, in order to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance, so that the name of the deceased will not be cut off from his brothers or from the court of his birthplace. You are witnesses today." So
he did not waste a second.
No.
Immediately, he was like, his leg was probably bent up behind him, ready to snatch that sandal off of it, right?
Yeah,
and he was ready to rock and roll. As soon as he said no, he's like, he threw his cards on the table. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah.
This is what he's, and he doesn't get up and say, "Oh, I fell in love with Ruth. I fell in love with her the moment I saw her."
Yeah.
They're not really concerned about that. He's talking about the legalities.
Yep. He's going to sign the contract and get out of there, man.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yep. He's getting this deal done.
Yep.
All the people, verse 11, all the people who were in the court and the elders said, we are witnesses. And not only did they do that, but they said, may the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, both of whom built the house of Israel. And may you achieve wealth in Ephrathah and become famous in Bethlehem. Moreover, may your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, through the offspring which the Lord will give you by this young woman. So not only did they witness, but they I think they recognized what they've just seen here. They had obviously all heard of Ruth and knew kind of who she was by this point, and they knew who Boaz was. To see those two become one, they seem like they're pretty happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be epic.
Yeah, exactly.
You have her blessed. Go forth and multiply.
Yeah.
We're behind God.
Be like Rachel and Leah. I mean, there's a pretty glowing blessing that they pronounce on them there.
This is just a side note. Tamar, wasn't she raped by Amnon?
No, this is
Different one.
Different, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tamar,
Tamar is who Boaz is descended from.
Yeah, going back to Genesis 38.
Sure.
This is its own little
I
weird story.
don't know if I'm connecting the right dots in my head. I
No,
was just curious.
there's a different one.
Okay.
Yeah. Judah has sons. Tamar marries one of the sons, and
grab one of those. Grab that blue binder.
He dies.
On that chauffeur. Yeah, grab that.
He dies, and she goes to Judah and says, he died. You need to probably, I need to marry your other son. And Judah tells his other son, and his son doesn't want to do it. Eventually they get married, and he won't provide a son for her. Then he dies, and then the next son steps up, and this is close kind of thing. And Judah really won't do anything about it. So she dresses up as a prostitute and meets Judah along the way and kind of seduces him. And then he makes her pregnant, and she has these two sons. And then in the end, Judah's all mad because he finds out what she did. And in the end, he says, you know what, you're more righteous than me because I didn't stand up and do what I was supposed to do by you. So that's where the twins came from. And Perez is one of those twins.
It's a paper from seminary.
Tamar is David's daughter.
Yeah.
Amnon, his son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the grade on the front of that, just so you know.
D+.
Read it.
A-.
No, down here.
I didn't want to read the A+ part. I wanted to read the A-.
98% A+. Okay, proof of my excelling in seminary right there.
But Perez was the father of all these people.
I knew that thing was down there somewhere. That's funny. Okay, go ahead.
So that when they talk about Perez and they're descended from him. So it's like, talking about great.
Yeah, and that's what him. Yes, that's what he's doing.
Yeah. So verse 13. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife, and he went into her. That's a little biblical euphemism.
Yep.
They made babies.
Well, they consummated the marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. Just stop right there for a minute. That was
very fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
In one sentence.
Just one sentence. That's the only spot in this whole book where God is the direct object, where God is an action is directly attributed to God. Otherwise, it's all secondhand. God gave her a son.
Well, she was married to was she married to Kilion or Malon?
Yeah.
So she was married to a guy for a while and failed to have a child. She
didn't get 10 years.
She didn't get pregnant with him, and they were in Moab for, like you said, 10 years. So she was kind of barren up to that point.
And there's a very real possibility that Boaz was 45 years old here and never had a son of his own.
Correct. Yes. And so this is like you were saying, it sounds almost a little bit like Abraham and Sarah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah.
When God aligns the stars, all of a sudden, look, they're pregnant.
Well, and the verse does say that where does it say? God, the Lord enabled her to conceive. So this was a God thing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Absolutely.
So
14, then the women said to Naomi, blessed is the Lord who has not left you without a redeemer today, and may his name become famous in Israel. May he also be to you a restorer of life and a sustainer of your old age. For your daughter-in-law who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons has given birth to him. This is
so
interesting.
Jesus.
Blessed is the Lord who has not left you without a redeemer today. So the redeemer that they're talking about isn't Boaz, because they're talking to Naomi. They're talking about the son.
Yeah.
The son is the redeemer.
Well, yeah, and again, from a barren woman, it's that's well. Anyway, yeah, it's just wonderful.
And everything else they say is referring to the redeemer. So they say, "May his name become famous in Israel." They're talking about the baby. May he be able to restore of life and the sustainer of your old age. They're talking about the baby.
Well, in the story of Abraham and Isaac, here's this barren couple. They have a child, Isaac, and in that story where he takes him, God says, sacrifice him. And it's like, well, that's a weird request. In that story, Isaac is the Jesus figure that goes up, carries the wood for his own sacrifice up the hill and lays down on it. And it's a picture of Jesus. So that character is the Jesus figure in that story from that barren couple. And that plays out again here.
Yeah.
It's yeah. And the whole where it says, where does it say? That he will be the kinsman redeemer, that he'll be famous throughout Israel. Again, that's the Jesus figure, and a little further up, it says, may you have standing and be famous in Bethlehem, where Jesus comes from. So, they throw that in there. It's just, it's great.
It is. Yeah. So, there's a whole lot. It ties it all together. And when they say, and this is, we probably don't understand how big this was for them to say that Naomi is better for you than 7 sons. There's nothing better for them in their society to have a son, and 7 was like their number of completion. To have 7 sons, that's it.
Yeah.
To say Naomi is better than 7 sons, Ruth is better than 7 sons. They couldn't have said much more.
Right. Yeah. That's the best life you could possibly have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge for them. So 16, then Naomi took the child and laid him in her lap and became his nurse. And the neighbor women gave him a name, saying, a son has been born to Naomi. So they named him Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. So she became his nanny. And this is another oddity. Obviously, the parents would be the one that actually named the son, but they said the neighbor women gave him a name. The way this whole story is kind of written from a different perspective. You see it here again. It's like they came and said, "Hey, we think you should name him Obed." And like, okay, I'll name him Obed. Sure, which means servant.
Yeah. Well, and again, this son born to them from servant. Again, Jesus, the son, was the servant. Yes, it's just beautiful in every way. And you can keep looking at it and it'll just probably start to blossom like a flower unfolding for you. Yes.
Yeah. And Dave, we'll read this next part and then we'll delve into that. Now, these are the generations of Perez. To Perez was born Hezron, and from Hezron was born Ram, and to Ram Amminadab, and to Amminadab was born Nahshon, and to Nahshon Salmon, and to Salmon was born Boaz, and to Boaz Obed, and to Obed was born Jesse, and to Jesse David. So King David is the great-grandson from this, and we know that Jesus is born of this line.
Isn't that amazing? That the story we just went through in the book of Ruth is part of the family tree of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
This is when, if they went to a family reunion, this is a story that would be told in the life of Jesus. It's fantastic.
And it goes a little bit to say that what God recognizes as far as like the spirit of law, the letter of law, all that stuff, technically Elimelech's name should be in here. But Boaz married Ruth and said, I don't care if my name gets lost in a shovel. I'm going to take care of her. It says Boaz.
Yeah.
You go to Matthew, when you read his genealogy, it says Boaz. It doesn't say Elimelech. God recognizes what he did there.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right. We did it. We finished it up.
That's Ruth.
All right. Ruth. We'll wrap this up. That's not bad. About 40 minutes. That's good. We end a little early.
Yeah.
It's legal.
We finished her up. And we're going to go on to the book of Esther next time.
I think so. So. Gary and I are going to dress as characters from VeggieTales next time.
Yes. Yeah. Larry is always.
You could be Junior Asparagus. You're skinnier than me.
I like Larry, though.
I'll probably be one of the large round French peas or something.
Mary Jean-Claude.
Yeah.
Our feet.
I love that story with the walls of Jericho
Yeah.
and those rude French peas on the wall.
Silly little pickle.
That's genius. That's just
It
genius.
is. It's just
Yeah,
good stuff,
I could be
right?
the pickle guy because I'm a little wider
Okay.
and I'm
Right.
kind of sour. Well, you're sour too, though. You could be pickled asparagus. That would help.
Asparagus?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't even know where we're going. We should probably close this with.
All right, I suppose.
All right. Did we?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Well, let's do it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Hi, Carol.
Yeah, I thought we forgot.
Almost forgot.
Well, we kind of did for a little while, but we brought it home in the end.
We did.
All right, let's pray.
Okay.
God, thanks for this, for your word and this chance to talk about it and to learn about you. God, thanks for this message. Thanks for taking care of us. Help us to lean in, Lord, and learn more about you and learn just how to serve you and how to be yours, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right.
All righty then.
God bless you guys. We'll see you Saturday night in the sanctuary. I believe we are kicking off a new series.
Yes.
We're going to take a couple of weeks off from proper preaching and do some improper preaching. No, I'm kidding. We're going to take 4 weeks off and do a series on urban legends of the Bible, things that Christians and people think are in there that aren't, or things that they misinterpret, or it's like that isn't what that passage means at all. You're pulling it clearly out of context just to kind of, you can't live your life by Christian memes off Facebook. That's a bad idea. So we're going to try to straighten out some of that. No, can't do it. We won't let you.
I'll have to recalibrate now.
It's going to be called Urban Legends. It's going to be Saturday night. We're kicking it off, and my son's going to open the series.
Cool.
So it'll be fun. And besides, there's going to be props on stage, Bigfoot, a UFO, and the Loch Ness Monster, which is going to be fun. In church, it's fun. It's urban legends. What did you want me to put up there? Okay, so anyway, enough of that. Let's close with prayer. Did we do that?
Yeah, we did that.
We did that?
Yeah, it was so memorable.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in the sanctuary. 3, 2,